Hello, hello. Think I fixed my camera. Oh man, you guys have been in here for a minute. Happy Friday. Let me make sure my audio is good. Checking OBS. We're looking good. All right. Hey. Thanks for tuning in on the afters, as we decided to call it. We, as in myself. For those that don't know, if you're younger, the afters is what people sometimes call after parties. So you go out to a club, and then a couple of the DJs get together and say, "Hey, we're at the afters are at Jimmy's place." So you all go to Jimmy's. They usually set up a couple decks, and then people are kind of playing and drinking and partying all night until the next day. So it was like just after midnight's at the club. The afters is what you do after the club. So somewhere in Locknar's room. Yeah, but we got a ton of people here. All right. Yeah, so that turned out to go a lot better than I expected. Probably would say 2 months into just after midnight, things were really slow. I think you guys were here, so you saw that there was a lot of R&D in how that came together, right? And it wasn't until probably a month ago that that song really started coming together. So last 2 weeks I've spent tinkering with it, getting the last of the arrangement done. Thankfully, the mixing and mastering part, which I usually do off screen because it's just a really tedious process and it eats up a lot of CPU, that went well. That didn't have a whole lot of fixes I had to do. So, any whoosies, that's out. Let's see. I guess we can pop it open quick and we can look at what we might want to do next for the next tapes. I really need to have a better way to say that. The subsequent Nextapes project. While I pop open this, I'll pop open the afters, as it's now known. Make sure my audio is down so I don't have. And let me put you guys off to the side so I can see you. Yeah. So not a lot crazy happened working in my own time. This baseline, that main growly baseline, took up a lot of CPU power. Oh, hang on. Well, we're still loading. Let's see. Oh. Even though I flattened it, this is how bad of our CPU usage we got. Oh, let me switch cameras. So this meter up top shows how much CPU is being used, and it is aggressive. Just the amount of plugins that I ended up having to use just to get everything tightened up. But this particular sound, the womp womp, that took up a quarter of the CPU power. So I had to flatten that down to audio. I had to flatten down the chunky, stabby eighth note bits. And a few other things. Basically, every bass line had a lot of processing power to it, so I had to flatten those out, and then I do maybe a little bit of EQ after the fact, right? Just to tighten things up. Oh, is my mic stuttery? Oh, hang on. I got it. I did say womp womp. Yes, I did say womp womp. That should be better. Let me check OBS. Yeah, that should be crisper. It's probably my clipper or my gate to keep things a little tidy. Anyway, as I was saying, these different bass lines took up a lot of processing power. A couple of the things on my mastering chain, mostly because they're using oversampling or taking up a lot of processing power. The only real interesting additions was I had a little bit towards the end that I didn't like, so I made one synth sound just to fill in the second drop somewhere. Yeah, it's way too glitchy to even show off anymore because, again, this is running at... There's a lot of processing power being used for this. But yeah, so this came together pretty nice. This is one of the reasons I'm pushing to try Reaper, is this whole CPU drain. I don't know. It's either my fault, which is entirely possible by just using too many plugins and being too judicious with my signal chain. Okay, that's very possible. It's also possible that Bitwig and Linux is not as well optimized as it could be, and with the nested Windows plugins and all the other stuff, it's just not working well. So I do want to try Reaper out to see if the stability is actually there. Anything else here? Not really. Most of it was boring arrangement stuff, just kind of fiddling with the builds, making sure things fit in the right place. I think the only interesting thing, originally I had a lot of white noise risers, but those were kind of cheesy, so I got rid of them. I think I'm gonna avoid white noise crashes, generally speaking, and white noise rises, generally speaking, and try to do other things with the transition stuff. But I don't think No Escape is gonna be in there. Problem with No Escape is that there's not a lot to it. It's mostly percussion, and you can't really remix percussion. That's the rhythm. That's the body. Let's see. Violator engine. Violator engine's a maybe. Well, let's see what we got. All right. So while we're sitting here, today's going to be a light day. I'm probably going to do some sample work in Reaper to continue that project, but we can... Nextapes day. New singles out. Let's talk Nextapes since we're doing Nextape shit. Anyway, there was that. And let me make sure not to save it, because one day I might need to go back and back up this project. No. Let's see. So we heard Bloodbath, Blood Sun, Deputized, Funky Punch, Enter the Nexus, Industrial Complex, Rock and Loaded. Rock and Loaded is going to happen. That's the last one. We've decided. The 80s Callback, Thunderground, Weird Science. Funky Punch is too weird. I don't think there's enough meat on the bones to make that work. The swing doesn't lend itself well to other genres, and all of the iconic sounds that made that song, until I can afford Omnisphere, right? I'd have to go rip Omnisphere again, and I'm not going to do that. I have to pay for it to get it back, and then I probably have to buy Massive again to try and get some of those original old school sounds back. And I don't want to spend the money on tools I'm not going to use. Where did we leave off with Industrial Complex? Let's see. I'll pop you open. Haha, I teleported bread. Oh no, the soldier teleported bread 1,000 times. Where is taking inventory? Same problem. Good song. A lot of swing. It's... Ooh, missing files. Oh yeah, there's going to be a few. I don't know. Did we even open it? I guess we can try and open it and see what's there. Did I really opt for... Okay, so what, 110? 110 BPM? Yeah, originally it was 128. Well, swing is that so when you have eighth notes, right? So now it'd be more like this. It's when you kind of stagger the notes on the back half of a phrase. So if you've got eighth notes, every other eighth note is delayed slightly, and that's where you get that that kind of rolling feel. And the problem is that's not auditorily. I don't find it pleasant in things like dubstep, drum and bass, breaks. It's very weird. It sounds decent in house, but it doesn't fit in a lot of places. Let's see. I mean, a little repetitive. But you know, at 110, you could do a really cool breakbeat, like weird breakbeat tune. Probably at 145 too. Oh, I even have one down here already. It's not even to say that you can't use swing everywhere, because everything is arbitrary. You can use it at any tempo. You could use it in any style. For me, I don't find it pleasing in certain dance genres, particularly for like the aggressive stuff. I don't think this one would work fast. I think slowing it down, you could almost go for some like crawler-like vibes. So yeah, industrial complex, maybe. Needs a lot of massaging though, because it's very simple. You've got this. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. What are you supposed to be? Anyway, so that's industrial complex. No. Let's open up. Where did we leave up? There's something there. I think industrial complex has some stuff there for sure. Let's see. I mean, deputized. As much as that's a meme song, and I'm kind of annoyed that that's like the #1 song off of the album, at least on Spotify. It does have some legs, and I also have a lot of the original sounds because those were samples I found on YouTube. That definitely could be a breakbeat. Why is that on? What the hell? What the hell is even that? Why am I on overdub? What am I even latching? I'm not recording anything. Okay, whatever. Oh, because this is playing. where's that guitar? What do we have here? All right, what's going on here? What do we got? All right, let me default you quick. This is what happens when you don't use this shit for a while. You don't remember where anything is. Am I dumb? Initialize. Oh, I don't need to install. Oh, they're definitely wanting me to try, though. It's been a minute since I've updated. Am I dumb? For real, there's an initialize. I know there is. Or am I really just that dumb? New. Jeez, Louise. Holy crap. I've been like out of this for a minute. I don't even know what that's from. Sounds cool though. Oh, great. Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. Yes. Yes. Oh, man. I was hungry. Alright, so Deputize definitely has legs, but where the fuck is like the good guitar sample? Hang on. I didn't get rid of it. Oh, there are missing samples. There's that. All right, so I have to dig for more samples because I know there's something here. Well, you know what? I can do new guitar because you have enough of this silly shit to make it work, and then you just make new guitars that kind of go harken back to the original. All right, breakbeat. Definitely Deputized as a contender. I'll have to redo a lot if I'm going to start the next one in Reaper, so we'll see how that goes. All right, let's see what else we got. What did somebody say? Somebody put, I feel like we did try and open, taking inventory, and I just wasn't feeling it, but... Blood Sun? Drum and bass. Maybe. Definitely doesn't work slow. So Blood Sun's probably drum and bass. Deputize is probably breaks. Industrial Complex is down tempo. I don't know. I definitely want to change things up. I've been writing a shit ton of drum and bass this last year. I wouldn't mind one of these next tapes being like the next one being something different, and then maybe coming back to drum and bass. So like save that one. We already did Just After Midnight. Check. Weird Science. Check. 80s Called Back's another good option, but I think that'd be another drum and bass flip. This is a tough one because like all of the main musical elements are pretty boring, but the actual like it's the build and the not the drops, but the builds and the choruses that actually have something to work with. Making a mess. I need a napkin. Ah. I feel like that one meme where it's Spider-Man from Enter the Spider-Verse where he's eating the burger and he's disgusting. Just stuffing my face. Ugh. Anyway. Excuse me, I was just a little naughty with my food. That part, you definitely have something with that part. And same thing, you just double it up. Yeah. Not a lot of meat on the bones here. Like, not for the main part, but these are all going to have new main sections anyway. Dun, 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 dun. So 80s callback, probably drum and bass also. Let's see, what else? Enter the Nexus has got to be house. We got to do a bass house tune for that. Yeah, that's house. Doesn't even have to be that frenetic. You can double that up. Actually, if I extend, be 125. I want to scale the clip. Now, what's the math on this? Let's see. Because really what I want to do is I want to just extend it out to try out dotted eighths. No, because it'll sound exactly the same. That's right. Who the hell's the main melody? So that's the guitar section. Where's that little melody? Definitely electro. I think this is a strong contender for the next one. It's got really strong melodies. And I could kind of revisit it with a bass house, like bass house agenda. Go full neurofunk basses, make it really, really angry, and then kind of cut back in and out from these like melodic elements. Okay. I think I've convinced myself. Granted, it's going to be about a month before I get back into the Nexus or the Nextapes rather. But this one feels really good to use. A lot of stuff already here, a lot for me to play with, but also a lot of freedom to make it different. Exit the Nexus. All right, that's pretty funny. Might keep that. This is the song you play walking out of the Nexus. What is the Nexus? You didn't play the game? You don't know? Let's see. While we're still here, let's open up a couple more of these. I have a feeling this is just going to be a short ass stream today. I'm going to finish dinner and then I'm going to probably go play some video games. I do plan on getting back to Reaper work on Monday though. So definitely going to be doing like real production work and kind of walking through my journey and learning how Reaper works now that this is done. Because I'm glad that the afters got finished. That was like looming over my head. I mean, I've been working on that since like December. Yeah, we already looked at Funky Punch. I feel like the order is probably going to be Enter the Nexus. Then we jump to probably Industrial Complex. Then Deputized. Then maybe we kind of start wrapping up the ones that we think might work, and then we pan it out with the last of it with Rockin' Loaded. Okay. Yeah. Is there anything else fun to like look at today? I hate cutting the stream so short, but I'm just staring at this food. I don't have anything to like work on except for something kind of tedious, and I want to save that for when I'm like I have my fresh energy. Tell you what, this is gonna be lame as shit, but I'm not feeling it, Mr. Krabs. I am here to field questions while I eat for like 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll have a proper full stream Monday, hour and a half. I'll be working in Reaper. We'll be doing the journey together. But today I'm feeling mighty lazy, so I'm gonna eat. Y'all ask some questions or whatever, and go from there. Oh, 144p? That's terrible. What happened to your internet? Please name the Blood Sun remix Blood Daughter. That might work. It's not a bad name. I just didn't eat enough today. That's on me. This is when I do that horrible thing where it becomes like a mukbang and you just start slowly zooming in on my face and it just gets louder and louder. I won't do that to you, I promise. No wet mouth noises. I don't mind it, but I have some friends that get like mad when you eat on microphone. Thanks for coming by, Hank Wimbledon. Good to see you. Ooh, great question. One sec. Okay. The question. Sorry. Tasty food is tasty. Let me get this out. So the question, Blue Smoothie, Locknar, how do I get started making my own songs without using loops and using my own ideas? So rewind the clock. I was probably 13, 14 years old. when I first started playing with music production, and that was exclusively loop based. I grabbed loops, I chopped them up, I threw them together. Ooh, I wonder if I can find some of those. All right, after this question, we're going to go on a little archaeology hunt because if I can find any of my old crap, we can go revisit Locknar lore. You can look up, this is like old Devin Martin as a teenager from almost 20 years ago. So, I'm getting to a point. There's a story to this. So when I was at that time, I didn't do music. I wasn't even in school with music. I hadn't even joined the band yet. So the band is in like orchestra. I used to play trumpet. And the day came that I really wanted to start trying stuff. And I mean, talk about brute force. I got Fruity Loops. I pulled up some of their synthesizers. I pulled up the piano roll and I just started putting notes down. And I'm like, that doesn't sound good. That sounds good. This doesn't sound good. And I kept like brute force, no lessons, trying to like find out what sounded good or not. And it was amateurish. It was bad. But it was the only thing I had. YouTube didn't have tutorials yet. People weren't giving away all their training for free on the internet yet. There was no learn how to play piano stuff. There wasn't any. There's just, it didn't exist. Where does that leave you today? First, have a DAW that you have some synths to play with. Synths are free in the sense that there's a lot of room to explore and it's not rigid. You can make a lot of different sounds with a synthesizer than you can with like an instrument sampler. Yeah, great. You have a guitar sampler, but all you can make are guitar sounds. A synth is a little bit more freeform. Two, you got to experiment. You'll probably need to learn very basic music theory, but we're talking like basic singing, songwriting stuff. How do I make a major chord? How do I make a minor chord? And then what is a scale? And once you learn those like three things, you can start putting together basic melodies. Then you can layer harmony on top. And then you start exploring how that all starts to come together into a musical piece. Let's see some more questions. So before we go digging for the archaeology crap and laugh at it, let's see. What are samples and motifs? A sample is an audio sample. So it's a recorded piece of audio that is sliced for a particular purpose. You can either think of it like taking a record, pressing play, and then hitting a recorder on another machine and taking a snippet and of however long of a length it is. Or in production world, there's also just samples where people make pre-made samples of like a drum hit, a synth hit, a whatever hit. And then those are WAV and MP3 files. Those are samples. A motif is a theme. It's a theme that's used over and over and over again. If you want to learn about motifs and themes, go look up a breakdown on the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, or rather the Lord of the Rings score. That dude used themes and motifs through the entire trilogy of movies, and they all have a purpose for how they're used every time they're used. So like if something happens with the Fellowship of the Ring, the actual people that form the Fellowship, a triumphant little da-da-da-da-da-da-da comes in. Da-da-da. Those are themes and motifs that kind of get sprinkled throughout music. They're typically attributed to stuff like movies and games where it's paired with an action, but not always. And in music by itself, there is no theme. So there's just more like clumps of ideas that get reused over and over again. This is going to be a stretch, but I have a name for the Indus complex. Anthem of the Merc for the Indus complex. It's a long name. Let's see. Waltz of the Sheriff for Deputized. Oh, that was what will that one be? That'll be a hard name. All right. Well, let's see quickly. We're gonna see if I can pull up a website. I doubt it still exists. Uh, nope. Acid Planet is definitely gone. Acid Planet was a website that Acid Pro users would throw their music onto. It was like a portal. Yeah, that thing is long gone. I'd have to check the Internet Archive for that stuff. Although that's probably there. Maybe okay. Stream idea. I need to write this down anyway. Go through old Devon tracks. I know I can find a shit ton of it on Newgrounds. A lot of bad old songs there. Acid Planet would be some of my first things I ever wrote. Yeah, you could see what kind of music I made when I was 15 years old. Blue Smoothie. I'm gonna try to make my own song just to try it, then do the music learn. Okay, do the learning music theory. Yeah, you don't need it to write a song. There's just some basics that help, but you can kind of muscle through it. That's what I did. It just took a long time. Let's see. Um, Waltz of the Sheriff's not bad. It's not a bad one. Check that. Let's see. Is there anything else interesting in? Got nothing. Sorry, this is a bum stream. There wasn't much. I thought I was gonna have more to talk about with the afters, but you guys have all been here for that, and not much to say. It all kind of came together really quick. We already kind of picked our next tapes thing, and I'm just a little tired. I don't want to work on I don't want to work on drums until Monday. So my slate is clean. Then I'm just eating food. What did he do all night? He sat there eating food and talked about motifs. Um, hmm. Guess we'll just sit in silence. No, I won't do that too. I think we'll just call it early. Any last minute questions before I get out of here? Monday will be a full stream. I will not be lame. And we'll be doing this Reaper adventure for about a month. I want to do a song start to finish. I want to see if I like the program, and if I do, then I want to transition some of the stuff over from Bitwig so we can start working on the next tapes. And yeah, I think that's about it. Timer starts now. You got a few seconds left before we get going. Well, you've got school Monday, but I'll be doing this on Friday again. Well, anyway, thanks for hanging out. This is 2 short streams in a row this week. Sorry, it's kind of lame. Can I get the raw midis and stuff before you mess with it? Because they actually sound fire. No. Raw midis, you never give those up. That's those you pay for. And because what ends up happening, and this is just something with like kind of musicianship, people are allowed to cover stuff all the time. And that's A-okay. But MIDI, you give out the whole MIDI for something. It's like giving away the whole song's bones to somebody to use. And it's like, unless they're doing it for an official reason, like an official remix, hey, Skrillex wants the stems from your track because he's going to remix your track and you guys are going to make money together. Then yeah, you get that. But I don't just give that shit out to anybody, not even like friends, unless they're going to do something official with it. Like Cryan or Siren, he's working on the what's it called? Murder Room remix. He's doing a techno remix right now. It's probably going to be a banger once it's done. But that's like official. You don't just dump out stems or MIDI files. And you definitely, and I'm like, it's not even a song. You just heard like a bunch of crap, like crap loops I slapped together. It's not even anything. So I can't just like dump that out to the universe. It's like Devin's unfinished masterpiece. It's like, it's nothing. It's like if you got Da Vinci and it's like, oh, Da Vinci's masterwork. And it's like, oh, it's just a napkin scribble. It's like, yeah, but it's that. And it's like, it's nothing. Nobody cares. So no. Sorry, Simon, but no. Let's see. Anyway, all right, guys. Oh yeah, you did Goofy. You didn't know he's working on it. He's been working on it. I sent him those. I sent him what I had because that's the other thing. I really only did have the MIDI for that song. There's not a lot of samples. I gave him some of the guitars and I gave him MIDI for like the melodies and everything. I'm like, have at it. Anyway, well, I will see you guys later. Monday, back to regular schedule. None of the short stuff. And we'll be back to the regular programming. So, see you guys Monday.